First of all, I want to thank you guys for composing a wonderful song. We need a clap. Yes, I don't know who composed the song, but it's a really nice song. And for us who are pushing for revolution, I think we need to put that song on the front line. I don't know, this is my first time to speak in Denmark on an event, because the first time I tried, I was denied a visa in 2020. So today I'm here, not as a normal climate activist. I used to be a free man in my country. I used to move. I've been moving all over the world speaking about climate change, inspiring young people. At the same time, sometimes I've been at home, having fun, sleeping, playing games. But unfortunately, these things changed in the last 3 months. Today, I'm speaking to you not just as a climate activist. I'm speaking to you as an asylum seeker in Denmark, a country with the harshest immigration law in the world, if I can say. So I'm telling you this just to remind you that I would like to continue with my activism, but it is unbelievable that I cannot do it the way I want due to the ongoing attack on me in my country. It is sad, especially in times like this, where we think humanity is able to see what is happening in reality. You know, at the beginning of this week, there have been a lot of floods in Europe, especially in the UK, in Wales. But when you talk about this crisis, people think it is a myth. I've received a lot of attack when I talk about climate and weather. They be like, they are not connected, they are not connected. But these are the countries that have been depending so much on fossil fuel for years. These are the countries that have accumulated a lot of wealth for years. But at the same time, we still receive a lot of misinformation, and this misinformation is picked up by the people in Africa, by the people in developing countries, where they believe they cannot live without fossil fuel. And that's where I come to the conversation of Total. Total Energy, we all know, is the top, producer of oil in Denmark. Is the top producer of gas. With over 90% of the gas you use here in Denmark is being produced by Total. These are the same company that has accumulated wealth to the extent that they are in Africa investing in more oil pipelines. It sounds normal, right? Because you are able to sleep, have fun, with light 24/7. But the injustices that are happening to the landowners, to the people where this oil is really unfair. And we need to talk about them, and we need to find solutions together. It is sad to see that communities that are well off, that are capable of driving renewable energy, are unable to do it because there is lack of investment. But at the same time, when you come to this country and talk about the investment of clean energy and so on, they feel like they want it, they feel like they are frontlining it. But when you tell them, talk about how your money is being spent, no one cares. No one cares. So when do we care? And how? What do we do? I have been in areas where communities are just surviving on just $2 a day. And at the same time, these are the areas where the pipeline is coming from. So they are being exploited to allow the oil pipeline to go through. And the government is saying these people accepted the money. But imagine someone who is surviving on $2. Can they refuse $30,000? They cannot, even when it is exploitive. At the same time, there are cases where people are being brutally attacked at night in this same area in Kasese, and they are forced to accept the little money Total is giving them through our government. At the beginning of this year, as activists, we have been so much tired on this ongoing abduction and arresting of our comrades on street. So we decided to be like, okay, we are going to speak up no matter what comes, no matter what happens. And guess what? Since the year started, I think they have arrested more than 150 activists on street. It is sad because when they arrest you, you have to pay heavily to be bailed out. This very week, there are activists that were brought to court again and they were denied bail, even with money. So you can see that even your money sometimes doesn't matter in this situation. Sometimes money is actually useless when it comes to the dictatorship country like mine. They only care about who is going to help them stay in power. And Total, this is what they have been doing. It's not the first time when there are cases where politicians are heavily funded by Total so that they can stay in power. Because when they change the leader, definitely even the oil goes. So you can see how your money is being channeled, and it goes from you to Total, from Total to the dictator, from the dictator to the community. And the community doesn't get the money, or they receive the brutality, the exploitation of their land, you know. So we are living in a world full of human pollution. We are living in a world full of, you know, rich exploitation. We are living in the world full of ignorance. How are we going to fight this when we are unable to join the streets? How are we going to fight this when we still allow your pension funds to be channeled into oil investment? How are we going to change this when we cannot challenge your pension funds? You know? Because these fossil fuel companies are always celebrating profit year after year, year after year. Go look at their reports. You think they lie? They do make those profits. But how are we going to stop this? How are we going to push for renewable in countries like mine? We have the capability. We have been seeing progress year after year. But again, whenever money comes, everything changes. The dictator is like, okay, this is a fund. This is a man giving us funds. We don't care. For the first time in Uganda, actually, we have just got our first charging port for electric car this year, actually this month. Shocking, right? Here you can find everything everywhere. Why? Because you guys at first you stood your grounds, but now you are changing because you feel like the world is okay, because you are living in your best life. It is not the same in Africa, unfortunately. It's not the same. Recently, I ran away because I've been speaking about this eco project for years. We have received cases in countries like Tanzania where people have been, you know, the graveyards have been shifted to allow the pipeline to go through. Over 2,000 graveyards have been tampered with. Meaning with oil, we lose culture. With oil, we lose our religion. With oil, we are going to lose our norms. Where are they going to bury our people? Why on our land? Why they have to shift us when we are dead? Do they care about us? Do they care about humanity? Like, do they care even about our norms, our reality? It's all about money, money, money. So when I start speaking about this, because I've been setting up events in schools, challenging these young people to come up and also talk about it, because this is where they come from. And guess what? The attack was launched. And not in a way that they launched it that I am talking about these injustices, this exploitation. They launched it in a way that they accused me of promoting homosexuality in schools. And because there is a law that can take me to prison, that's why they brought that idea. that if we accuse him for promoting this in school, he has a punishment of 20 years in prison. Because that is the harshest law they have ever passed in my country, and it is working. So this came because I've been very outspoken on injustices on our people. This became a reality when I went on BBC and I talked about the same project after arresting over 46 activists in a van, because they were heading to the streets to protest, and they were all arrested in July this year. And I had to move out. I had to move out of my comfort zone and talk about it, because it is so unfair seeing young people, university students, being taken to prison. Imagine today, to find a job, even here in Europe, they have to check your criminal record. Now imagine you are arrested and they forced you to accept, the crime you committed. Because for them they think protest, peaceful protest, is a crime, is a common nuisance. That's the word they always use. And in the end, they want you to accept the charges. You get your criminal record, meaning your life is already completely dead when you are just still in a university. So this is how money is being channeled. This is how we have been treated because of your money. So my call is very clear and easy. You all know that PFA is investing over 1.5 billion in Total Energy. And it is your money. So it is time for you to speak up and challenge them and tell them our money deserves better investment. It is okay to invest in renewable. If they can show you those projects, that's fine. But investing in Total for more exploitation, and they are not just doing it in Uganda and Tanzania, they are doing it in so many countries in Africa. We have to end the fossil fuel revolution and begin the renewable revolution. That time is now, and it starts today. Thank you.
It was a brilliant speak. Now there's questions. Rigtig god. Altså først og fremmest tak for et fantastisk oplæg. Er der nogen, der har nogle spørgsmål? Så jeg kunne godt tænke mig at høre lidt mere om, altså vi hører meget her i Danmark om, altså we hear a lot of things in Denmark about how the women are fighting in this struggle. Have you any experience about that there is a lead from women in the struggle in Uganda?
Yeah, yes, there are women, especially in this village where the oil is happening, that decided to try, to stand. But remember, in our country, women have no power, unfortunately. It's not the same as for men. So when your woman go out and challenge, this side the man is accepting the money. So in the end, your fight is actually, I can say, useless. This has been happening where a man is saying, yes, we can accept this. A woman is saying, no, we shouldn't. And that fight has been within, and so many families have been broken in that area where the oil is happening. But in a city, when it comes to Kampala, there are so many young girls who are standing with us on the street. And this is something that we always, applaud for, and we are always supportive to them. So it is something that I can say is not happening in remote areas because it's very, very risky. So many families have been broken.
So how many young people are joining these things? Is it 80% or 10% or 90% or something?
Yeah, so right now we have what we call a divided country. Our country has been compromised with money. Okay. And the same system is happening even within the work, the labor system, where to get you employed, you have to be under the government. So many young people believe that if you distance yourself away from the government, you'll not be getting the job. So in the end, when you join them, definitely you have to go silent. So this has been happening whereby if you feel like you want to challenge the oil, then you will never be employed in your life. So that's how it is. And I can say the percentage right now for people who are striking, especially young people, is just 30%. Okay. But yes, one thing I can say is the 30% is more louder than the 70 that is not joining. So that is at least the success that we are able to see so many, students against ECOP. We are seeing so many, climate movement like Fridays for Future joining in the fight. So at least the 30% that are in trying, they are more louder than those who refuse to join us.
Thank you very much. I have another question which we talk a lot about in Denmark, and it is a little perhaps far from the subject, but anyway, we hear about the Chinese coming to Africa and making big business. Have you any experience from that?
Yeah. So there is a new plan, a strategic plan that China has been putting in place in Uganda, especially because I think we are among the people they are funding mostly, heavily, almost in everything. So what they do is they come to your country and they know what you are going through. So what they do, they always give you money without asking for something in return. But afterwards, they make sure they stick on that specific date they gave you. If they said you are giving us in 2 years, it has to be 2 years. So in that way, they give you the money and they give you the labor force. So they will help you do that very thing they have given you money for. In the end, you are unable to use that money in your own way. Afterwards, because you cannot pay back since the money went in them, they have to take away your things. So our airport today is under China. It was even renamed Hanoi Entebbe International Airport. So the same happens to the roads. When they try to say they are going to construct roads, they don't allow you to use your people to carry out the construction. It is their people from China who are going to come, carry out the construction. Then they say, give us the money that we borrowed you. If you cannot, then they take something in return. So that's how the program has been designed. And African leaders are actually happy because they're like, no, we hate US, we hate Europe. We want to work with China and Russia. So that's the system is too compromised because one, Europe and America or the West hasn't been believing in, brutality and lack of democracy. So they're like, China will not talk about us. Even if we brutalize people, even if we do anything, they will not talk about us. The same to Russia. So they're like, we rather work with China because they don't care about what we do. As long as we are in power for years, no one cares. The same to Russia. That's why it's not so much about actually how they fund, how they get the money. It's about who give them peace to be dictators.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we shall give Nyombi a big hand for the struggle, which is very, very difficult. So thank you very much. And